welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be discussing the basic and essential steps to start government contracting. I'll go over the step-by-step process, I'll break down the necessary forms, requirements, and procedures, and lastly, I'll provide a few useful resources that will help you along the way. So let's go ahead and dive into the first step. Alright, so first things first, you definitely want to make sure that you actually have a legitimate business. So you want to form either an LLC or partnership. It could be a C Corp or whatever you see fit as an entity for your business needs. It is recommended that you consult with an attorney or CPA prior to starting the business, just so that you don't run into any major issues from a legal aspect. So once that's checked off the list, you can actually file for your own business, or you can have a consultant do it for you. But if you're seeking to do it on your own, these are the steps you would take. Now, this will vary from state to state, but the overall process pretty much remains the same. So I currently live in the state of Texas. So all I did is I went to Google, I typed in LLC formation in the state of Texas, and of course the Texas Secretary of State website is what I clicked on, and that's what you see here on the screen. So again, this will be dependent on your state. Just type the name of the state that you live in into Google and you'll find the Secretary of State's website, and you can pretty much just follow the same process. So from here, you see it says selecting a business structure. I'm gonna scroll down, and it's essentially providing an overview of the types of businesses that can be created. You can form a sole proprietorship, a general partnership, a corporation, a limited liability company, which we know of course is an LLC. You can have a limited partnership or a limited liability partnership. And then at the bottom, it provides a disclaimer to consult an attorney and also seek guidance from a specialist before formulating any business structure. So once you've decided on the entity you want to form, I'll go ahead and scroll back up. And all you need to do is go ahead and click on Business Services. And then you're going to click on Filing Options. Now from here, it's going to direct you to the filing option online, which is going to be the SOS Direct. Now you're able to pretty much get certification for your documents. You're also able to request if you need to order another document or two. If you also want to look up entity information or just have the regular standard business filing, that's what this particular website is for. So I'll go ahead and click on SOS Direct. From here, it's going to prompt you to have your account login. It's also going to give you those disclaimers as well, those warnings, and talking about all the different things to pay attention to. So take some time and read through that. Once you scroll down, you're going to see SOS Direct user ID and the password. Now, if you've never used this site before, obviously you don't have a user ID or password, but you can see underneath the blue submit button, it says need assistance, and then it says contact us. And then underneath that, it says if you do not currently have an account, you may submit a request for SOS Direct. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then once you do, you see it prompts you to have your direct account acknowledgement. And this is going to be how you start the process of enrolling. So you can enter your business name or you can enter your individual name. So I would obviously recommend do your business name. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and click continue. You'll allow about 15 minutes for them to process the information. They'll send you a verification email, and it'll also have like a temporary password associated with it. From there, you're just going to go ahead and log in and complete the steps to like form your business. Now, I won't go through everything in this video because it would be way too long. But if you want me to make a separate video on how to form an LLC in Texas, I can definitely do that. Okay. So from here, all we're going to go ahead and do is go to the next step, which is going to be how you form your EIN. Okay, so this step is fairly quick and it's very simple and easy. All you need to do is go on Google and then type in IRS EIN and then click on Apply for Employer Identification Number. Now the EIN serves as like the social security number for your business, so you definitely need one. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and you can see it says step 1 is to determine your eligibility. This is saying that you have to be a U.S. citizen, you have to already have a social security number, and just those different things you need as far as who has control of the business. And then I'm going to go ahead and scroll to step 2, which is understanding the online application. Now you must complete this in one session. And then you also, if you have any like inactivity longer than 15 minutes, it'll prompt you to be like kicked out and you have to start the process over. Step 3 is going to be submitting your application. This is where you pretty much verify all your information. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Apply Online Now. Then once you do, it's going to have a disclaimer pop up talking about the authorized use only. I'm going to hit close. Now you'll see where it provides the EIN assistant. This is going to be information you need before you begin. So I would take some time, read through all of the assistant details, and then also read through the restrictions because it's important information. So once you do, go ahead and click on Begin Application. From here, it's going to ask what type of legal structure are you applying for your EIN? And this is what we just talked about. Again, if you have a sole proprietorship, if you have a partnership, corporation, LLC, whatever it is, we're going to go ahead and stick with LLC just for example purposes. And then we'll hit the blue Continue button. From here, it says you have chosen your limited liability company. So they're basically asking you to confirm that's exactly what you want to have your EIN formed under. They're going to tell you all the things that an LLC is, and they're also going to tell you what an LLC is not. So take some time, make sure this is the correct entity you've chosen, and then once you've read through the information, go ahead and click Continue. Now it's going to ask for more details. It's going to basically say how many members are in the LLC. This is where they get all the details they need in order to make sure the business is actually legitimate. So you're going to go ahead and fill out this information. Now, I won't go through every single step in this video. Again, I'll kind of make a separate video if that's needed. But it's going to pretty much take you to step 2, which is to authenticate. Step 3 is going to be the addresses. Step 4 are the details. And then step 5 will be the EIN confirmation. From there, you're essentially set and you have your EIN. Again, it takes less than like 5 minutes. So it's a very, very quick process, okay? So once you've completed that, now we're going to go ahead and get into your DUNS number. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so you now see that I went to Google once again. I typed in Dun & Bradstreet. I'm going to go ahead and click on the first drop down that says Get a DUNS number. So I'm going to click there. And then from here, it says how to get a DUNS number. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. It says here's how to claim your company's DUNS number. Then it'll take you through the steps 1 through 4. First step is obviously going to be the option that fits your company. Step 2 is going to be providing the information about your company, like the legal business name, address, phone number, all that good stuff. Step 3 is going to be the checkout process. And then step 4 is that you might be contacted by a representative of Dun & Bradstreet. So it says, thanks for choosing to request a DUNS number. You're going to go ahead and click on whichever applies for you. If you are a US-based business, go ahead and click the first option. And then we'll go ahead and scroll past. It says, great. Let's make sure we haven't created a DUNS number for you already. That's basically what it's asking. You're going to enter your zip code and then, of course, your business name. From there, it's going to prompt you to either 1, select if you already have a DUNS number assigned to you, then you don't need to do this step again. If you don't have one assigned to you, it's going to take you through the process of getting one. Now, when you get the confirmation, it may take about a week, maybe 2 weeks. It just depends for them to process that information so that you have it set. But once you do, they'll send you an email confirmation saying, hey, this is your Dun & Bradstreet number. You can print out the document as well if you need to, or just save it. Essentially, that is going to be the step to have your DUNS number. Now, from here, we're going to go ahead and move on because I want you guys to know that the NAICS codes are something you should have before you do Sam.gov. So let's go ahead and take a look at how you can acquire your NAICS codes. All right, y'all, we're getting there. We're almost to the Sam.gov step. But I want everyone to understand NAICS codes before we get there. I know a lot of times it can feel like a rushed process when people explain this, so I didn't want to do that in this video. But this is what you'll need to do. Just go ahead and go to Google once again, type in NAICS, which stands for the North American Industry Classification System, also known as NAICS, and these will be the codes you use to classify your business. Now, there are a few sites that you can use to get your codes from, but I like to use census.gov because it's a government site. But for the most part, the codes are the same regardless of the site you use to look them up. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the first tab. Now, again, this is directly from the U.S. Census Bureau. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what NAICS codes are, they categorize your business under an industry. So, for example, if you're a consultant, there's a NAICS code for that. If you're a contractor, there's a code for that. If you're a book publisher, there's one for that too. Pretty much whatever your business specializes in, there's an industry to classify it under. And this is important so that the government knows without having to go through a whole bunch of guesswork what your business does. So with that being said, all you need to do is go ahead and scroll down. And you'll see here on the left side, they have a 2022 NAICS manual. You can use that if you want, but for the most part, I like to go ahead with the reference files, which you see in the middle. So you see the top one says 2022 NAICS. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now it's going to show you a table with all of the structure for NAICS codes. Now on the left side, you see the sector, which is going to be the number. And then on the right side, you see the definition. So let's say, for example, you work in, I don't know, finance. I'm going to go ahead and click on 52, which is finance. Now you're going to see here, it breaks it down for like banks. And if you're not a bank, then don't click on that. But if you work just in general finance and insurance, go ahead and click on the number 52. And then once you do, you're just going to scroll back up. Now you're going to take a look at more detailed like breakdowns of your industry classification. So it can be commercial banking, credit unions, you see savings and institutions, sales and financing, consumer lending, real estate, mortgage, non-brokers, all this good stuff, right? So just choose the industry that makes sense for what you do. Now, it's completely possible to have more than one classification. And honestly, most businesses do. Most businesses have more than one NAICS code. That's completely fine, okay? Now, it's not a good thing to have 100, but you can have at least like 5 to 7 different NAICS codes. Completely not a big deal. So just find whatever suits you. Now, you'll see here, again, they have like different industries that you can choose on. Now, once you know exactly what you do as far as what it fits, that's when you're going to go ahead and take some time to write it down. So let's say, for example, you work in trust, in fiduciary, and custodial activities. That will be your NAICS code, that 523991. Okay. Maybe you do like medical insurance or direct life insurance. That will be your NAICS code. Okay. So just take note of what you have and then keep those in mind. So now we're going to go ahead and jump into Sam.gov, which is where you'll put your NAICS codes in. All right, so I have Sam.gov now pulled up. You guys can see it here. The very first thing you guys see at the top, it says you've reached the official government website of Sam.gov, and it also says there is no cost to use this site. So I want to be very clear that this is a free website to use. Some people will actually pay money for other people to look for their contracts, and that's totally fine. That's your business. But don't ever feel pressured to do it because you do not have to pay for this free website. The government provides Sam.gov completely free of charge. So I just wanted to say that. Now, you guys see the disclaimer here. It's going to tell us that on April 4th, the UEI number is going to be set to be assigned to an entity. And then also it tells us that the DUNS number has been removed. So you no longer get your DUNS number through Sam.gov. They're not integrated any longer, which is why I had you guys get the DUNS number prior to. So that's going to be something that's completely separate. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the X. Now you can see at Sam.gov's website, it has the sign in on the top right. If you don't have an entity already registered, obviously I'll make a more detailed video going over the registration process because I know that can be at least a 20-30 minute video in itself because it's not a one-day thing. Typically, Sam.gov can take about a week for you to get everything approved, and then they assign you a UEI number, and then they have to assign you a cage code. And if you don't know what a UEI number and cage code is, again, I will make a separate video giving you all the details. I just wanted this to be an introductory video so that you kind of get more information. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign in because I have already registered my entity with Sam.gov. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. All right, so I'm all logged in. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the interface. You can see at the top left, they have home, search, data bank, data services, and then help. I'm going to scroll down just a bit, and underneath the Sam.gov logo, you see it says the official U.S. government system for, and it tells you they offer contract opportunities, contract data, wage determinations, federal hierarchy, assistance listings, entity information, and then of course entity reporting. Now on the right side of that, you see where it says register your entity or get a unique entity ID number. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, but I want to show you guys this full page before I do. Again, underneath that, you're going to see announcements on the left side, and then on the right, it says if you have questions, you can kind of click on that video. And if you need a further clarification on things, click on some of those questions at the bottom as well. So I'm going to scroll back up. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on Get Started. Now, once you click on Get Started, it's going to say Get Started with the registration. And of course, you're going to also have it where you can register with your UEI as well. Now, before you get started, it's telling you to choose the option that's right for you. And you can, of course, register to bid on federal awards and apply for, those contracts that you would want. And then also you can look into getting that cage code, which usually comes a little bit later. Some people think it's a quick process, and I'll be the first to tell you it's not. This process isn't super fast. It can take upwards to a week, sometimes 3 weeks, just depending on how fast the government processes everything. So again, I'll make a more detailed video about that, but I just want to give you guys an overview for this one. All right, so I'm going to scroll down, and you can see here under step 1, it says about registration. This is going to be how they provide information for an entity registration checklist. You can click that and download it. And then you can go ahead and click on step 2. This is going to be setting up a Sam.gov account, which if you've done that already, then you're perfectly where you should be. And then step 3 is going to be preparing your data. This is going to be where you can download the information you need. And then, of course, if you want to look at any questionnaires or checklists, complete that guide as well. Step 4, of course, is going to be getting started. That's going to be a completely breaking down the registration process, okay? All right, so I'm going to scroll back up a bit, and now we're going to click on Get Started again. Now you're going to see a welcome message. Now, what this welcome message is saying, you're about to create a new entity record. We will ask a few short questions to help us recommend the best option for you. So click on the green, Create New Entity. Scroll down, and it's going to say, what is your goal? And then, of course, it's asking, I want to do business with, and you select the best option. Are you seeking to do business directly with the U.S. federal government, with a business or other organization which receives funds directly from the U.S. federal government, or is it other? Now, they're going to ask you a list of questions. I won't go over all those questions in this video, but I will make a future video kind of going through the entire process. That way you guys have every single step you need, okay? Go ahead and select the answers that you would need based on this on this screen, and then just keep moving forward in the process. All right, so the very last thing I want to do in this video is just provide a few resources. That way, when you're going through the process of registering for Sam.gov, you have all the things you would need in terms of like different reference points. So let me dive into the SBA, GSA, and how to obtain certifications real quick. All right, so I'm on the SBA.gov website, and all I did was type in federal government contracting, and then this is what pulled up. You can see from left to right, they have the contracting guide. They have contracting assistance programs, and that's going to pretty much tell us that they help small businesses win at least 23% of all federal contracting dollars. Then they have a resource for counseling and help, and also contracting data. I'm going to go ahead and click on Find and Win Contracts over here at the bottom left. And then I'm going to scroll down, and you can see they provide a contracting guide. First thing they tell us is the benefits of government contracting, so you can take some time to read through that. Then they tell us how it works. They also provide information about the set-asides and sole source contracts. They also then go into the SBA's role in contracting. So from there, they talk about getting started. So first you need to assess your business, then look at the basic requirements. They talk about how to win contracts, the types of contracts, the size standards, government rules and responsibilities, and then prime and subcontracting. So all this information is very useful. So I would say just take some time to kind of go over this information, read through it, and see what makes the most sense for what you're kind of aiming for in terms of your government contracting plan. And then, of course, like move forward from there. So now let me show you the GSA as well. Okay, so with the GSA.gov site, kind of the same thing. They're talking about how to access contract opportunities. I'm going to scroll down so you can see they're talking about the multiple award schedule. It's then talking about different ways, of course, setting some of the advantages, and then it talks about the eligibility. Now, I want to hone in on this just for a second because you guys can see it says been in business for 2 years and 2 years of financial statements and then measurable past performance. I want to preface this by saying you do not have to be in business for 2 years in order to win federal government contracts. Now, typically, it looks good to have that on your record that you've been in business that long, but there are companies who have won contracts who have only been in business for like 6 months, 4 months, whatever. It just depends on how good your proposal is and what your bidding looks like, okay? So don't feel like, okay, I haven't been in business that long, I may not win these contracts. That's not necessarily going to restrict you. It's just something that they have as a preference because it looks like your business is more, reliable and going to be a consistent, long-standing business. But again, you do not have to follow that in order to win these contracts, okay? All right, last thing real quick is how you can get certifications. Let's jump into that. All right, y'all, last thing for this video. If you stuck it out this far, thank you so much. I hope this information is valuable. But let me go ahead and jump into the very last thing, which is going to be the National Minority Supplier Development Council. This is going to be a way that most minority businesses receive their certification. Okay, so this is a great resource that you can use. Ideally, you should be certified before you start government contracting, but you don't have to be. Again, let me say you do not have to be certified in order to win, but it does look good to the government when you are a certified organization. So what I went ahead and did is, again, I typed in National Minority Supplier Development Council into Google. And then, of course, this is what pops up. It talks about advocating access and then, of course, the MBEs. Now, if you're not a minority-owned business, maybe you have a woman-owned business, or maybe you have a veteran-owned business, you can get those certifications as well. So please don't feel restricted in any way, okay? There's tons of ways you can get certifications. Even if you're just a small business, you can do SBE. There's so many different ways to kind of maneuver around making sure that you're certified. So all you would need to do for this website is just click on apply for certification and then just go through that process, okay? It's going to tell you all the different steps, fill out the information. I believe it costs about $250 to $275, just depending on your region. I think it varies from state to state. But again, just do your research on it, understand the importance of it, and that's going to be the summation of what you would need. So that'll do it for this video. If you found this information helpful, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.